What is going on, wrestling fans? It is WWE at Home 219 here with my friend Aaron to review Money in the Bank from 2013. On the pre-show, we saw the Usos taking on the Shield. Going into this, I did not expect much from it. I don't think any of us expected much from it. But the Usos put on a pretty good show, in my opinion, and it was probably the best matchup on the pre-show that we've ever seen. The Shield still picks up the victory here. I'll give it a B minus.
Yeah, I have to agree. There was a point in time in the match where I actually thought the Usos were gonna win, I thought the Shield was gonna stomp all over them. But great match, best pre-show match I've seen. B minus, better than freaking matches that weren't in the pre-show.
Yeah.
But good match.
All right. So then our first actual matchup that was on the card was the World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank ladder matchup. And with these matchups, you always are going to see a good show, and that we did. A lot of high-flying action, a couple oh my god moments, I should say. It looked like Dean Ambrose was going to take control because we saw the Shield come out, and I thought that was going to be it. But then Cody Rhodes started taking control, and Damien Sandow, who was laying low basically this whole matchup, ends up picking up the win by turning on Cody Rhodes. Very interesting to see Sandow win this Money in the Bank ladder matchup. Like I said, very entertaining to watch. I'll give it a B.
Yeah, Damien Sandow, my pick, came through. Like Kyle said, when the Shield came in, I thought Dean Ambrose was going to take it. And then there was a point, Cody Rhodes looked really, really good. Hopefully a champion in the near future. He's very impressive today. But, yeah, Sandow was just lurking, took advantage. The match overall was very good. Lived up to the hype. So I'm going to give it a B flat. It's a good match.
Yeah, it was a very good way to kick off Money in the Bank. So the second matchup on the card, we would see the Intercontinental Championship, The Miz take on Curtis Axel. It was an okay matchup. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but it made sense for Axel to retain here. He looked pretty strong in this matchup. There was submission battle going throughout this matchup and towards the end of it. That was pretty cool to see. We see Axel retain, like I said. It was an alright matchup, C+.
Yeah, it did what it had to do. I figured the Miz had really no chance. It made no sense for the Miz to win. The whole ejecting Paul Heyman, I guess, was a little interesting. I guess they had a little interesting twist to it, but not a bad match. Was pretty stale until you had that little submission thing going on, so it wasn't bad. Yeah, I'll give it a C. Wasn't a fan, but it did its job.
So then we saw the Divas face off. Caitlyn trying to get back her Divas title from AJ. Not as good as a matchup that we saw at Payback with these two, but these two actually can put on a pretty good show. Layla was at ringside for Caitlyn, and Big E was on the side of AJ. AJ would win with that Black Widow submission, a very creative way of ending matches for her as she continues her reign as Divas champion. Pretty good matchup for Divas, I should say, and I'll give it a C.
Yeah, I figured AJ was going to win. I think it makes most sense. She's the best I got right now. I'm thinking maybe now they could go AJ for Layla or maybe something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I thought the ending her Black Widow, I think that was really cool actually. Very different, you should say. And yeah, not a bad match. I'm going to give it a C for Diva standards, I guess.
Yeah. And then we would see Chris Jericho versus Ryback, probably my least favorite matchup of the night. Ryback was basically being put over by Chris Jericho because that's what Jericho's been doing the past couple years. What a nice company man he is. But Ryback looked okay in this matchup, and it was pretty boring to me. Jericho was pretty much the one carrying the momentum in this matchup. Ryback would win this matchup, though, and I'm guessing Jericho's probably going to be off our television screens for a while since I'm pretty sure he's supposed to go on tour once again. And like I said, he just puts over people, and that's all he's here for. He's not here to win championships. My least favorite matchup of the night, like I said, I'll give it a D.
Yeah, I agree. It sucks. Jericho is such. I mean, I'm a big fan of Jericho's.
Big Jerichoholics.
Yeah, and I respect. I respect Big. I don't know if it's Big. I respect Jericho so much. He's basically just here to put superstars over, like Kyle said. And, God, it had to be Ryback, which I guess I know a lot of people aren't a fan of, especially me. Jericho carried the whole match. Really sucked. Ryback sucks. Give it a D. Not a fan, but hey.
So we'd see the World Heavyweight Championship be up for grabs as El Rio was looking to retain against Dolph Ziggler, and that he would, but not in the conventional way, 1-2-3 pin or submission. AJ would end up coming out, causing a distraction, and then end up hitting Del Rio with her Divas title cost Ziggler the matchup. I'm guessing this is the split finally of those two, which is needed for this face turn that Ziggler is going through. Very disappointed Ziggler couldn't pull off the win here, but it was a very solid matchup nonetheless. You got to give credit for these two men. They always put on a pretty good show when they're in the ring. I might not like Del Rio, but he can put on a pretty good matchup. We see Del Rio retain off that distraction. I'll give it a C plus.
Yeah, obviously as a big Dolph Ziggler fan, it was disappointing that he didn't come away with it. Um, I think Dolph Ziggler just these past months has been caught in a kind of a bind. First he gets the concussion to where I think that was the reason why he lost the championship, and now he's in between Money in the Bank to where he's going to get cashed in on. That's basically a guarantee. So I don't think so. I guess I could see maybe why they don't want him to be champ. I'm pretty sure Del Rio is going to get it cashed out in the near future. I think it's going to happen sooner than later. But not a bad match. I actually was enjoying the matchup a lot. The whole AJ thing, I guess I'm happy about because I really want Dolph to split and be on his own. And hopefully this is what does that. I guess we'll find out on Monday Night Raw. Not a bad match. I'll give it a C plus.
David, let's get your input on this one. We got enough time for you to get in here.
Which one here? The
Divas matches.
Oh, Divas?
Oh no,
Yeah,
Dolph
Dolph.
matchup. Yeah.
Uh, I wasn't really a big fan of Dolph coming in before this, and now he's starting to grow on me. Don't like Del Rio, but they put a good match, both of them. Del Rio's kicks and Dolph selling. It was a good match. I didn't like how AJ came out. I thought Dolph deserves the championship, but hey, whoever's going to cash it in, maybe Dolph will feud with them.
It's a good point. So then I'm surprised this wasn't the main event because usually John Boy's been the main event. But Mark Henry would look to take the title away from John Cena. I was expecting not too much of an exciting matchup here, but it actually was pretty entertaining for having a big dude like Mark Henry and then having John Cena, who doesn't really have a lot of moves in his arsenal. John Cena would win with the STF submission. He would land an AA in there. There would be a World's Strongest Slam because John Cena would get caught by that. That was pretty cool. And for these two, like I said, I wasn't expecting much, so they went a little bit above my expectations, and I was pretty satisfied with the matchup. Nobody was surprised with John Cena retaining here because you're not going to have Mark Henry main event SummerSlam as WWE Champion. But if I were to give this match a grade, it wasn't outstanding, but it was pretty good. I'll give it a C plus.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I really wish this was like a no DQ match or something like that. I think they could have made this actually something. I thought it was a lot better than what it was anticipated to be. That whole John Cena getting caught in midair in the World Strongest Slam I thought was awesome. I honestly thought if they would have been added stipulations that they could have made this match actually pretty good. But overall, I mean, it's what I expected. I knew John Cena was going to retain. It's what made most sense. You can't have Mark Henry main event SummerSlam. So yeah, not a bad match. I'm gonna give it a C plus. Not bad. I think it exceeded expectations a little bit in my part.
David, what do you think?
They pretty much said everything that needed to be said. It's gonna be Cena. He's gonna win against Mark Henry because Mark Henry, even though he did maybe deserve a world champ or WWE championship with his 17-year career, he hasn't even had one. But I mean, it's SummerSlam's the next pay-per-view, and it's one of the bigger pay-per-views for WWE, so you're not going to have Mark Henry be the face of SummerSlam. So, it was kind of predictable. I'll give it a C+. It was an alright match.
Alright, and then on the main event at Money in the Bank would be the Money in the Bank All-Stars matchup. You'd see guys like Rob Van Dam, Christian, CM Punk, Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan. It was a pretty loaded matchup. If I say Sheamus, but it's pretty easy to forget about Sheamus. But that's just my opinion. Very awesome matchup. Easily the best matchup of the night. Easily the best. I mean, it could be argued that if it was the best Money in the Bank matchup of all time. I personally think it was. A lot of action going around. A lot of oh my god moments. We saw CM Punk basically get his head busted in by Paul Heyman. Curtis Axel ended up coming out. The RKO from Randy Orton. And then RVD was just doing vintage RVD moves. All around a great matchup. Randy Orton's RKO to RVD, though, was what propelled him to the top of that ladder to grab that briefcase and become Mr. Money in the Bank here at Money in the Bank. And like I said, awesome matchup that I'm going to give an A.
Yeah, Randy Orton, my pick. Surprised I went 2 for 2, but Randy Orton made most sense. Awesome match. Rob Van Dam coming back was awesome. Just got huge hype. Daniel Bryan too, huge hype. Both of them were huge for the Philadelphia crowd. But yeah. Paul Heyman turning on CM Punk. Who would have thought? Did not expect that whatsoever. In my opinion, this pay-per-view is a whole thing of betrayal. You had Sandow betray Rhodes. You had AJ betrayed Ziggler. You had Heyman betray Punk. That's the big theme. But this match was awesome. This was the best match, I think, in 2013. Best Money in the Bank match, possibly. But it was phenomenal. Got me all hyped up, giving it an A.
I'm giving it an A as well. This is the best match I've ever seen as a new WWE fan. This is awesome. I loved RVD, his return. He did some vintage RVD moves, and then the Viper, he strikes again. CM Punk, he put on a show. I didn't expect Heyman. I was expecting Brock Lesnar, not Heyman, to come out, and it was amazing. And then Daniel Bryan and Curtis Axel maybe going for the. I was expecting Daniel Bryan to get the WWE Championship, but I guess they're going to settle for the Intercontinental Championship. Sheamus, I don't know what the hell's going on. Old Man Christian, just doing whatever he does. And then, who am I forgetting? That's it. Those are great. Oh, there's RVD trying to jump for the briefcase. I'll give it an A.
A. So A's across the board on that main event matchup. Overall, Money in the Bank setting up to be a great SummerSlam. Like I said, at Payback, they were setting up for a great summer of WWE. And this just solidified future main events, future main eventers with Damian Sandow. The pay-per-view overall was the best pay-per-view of 2013, in my personal opinion. I will give it a B-.
Yeah, easily best pay-per-view of 2013. Sets up, SummerSlam should be epic, in my opinion. This is just set up for everything. This pay-per-view did it exceeded the high expectations, and that's hard. I'm going to give the pay-per-view a B+. Leads for a lot of things. Like I said, betrayal was a big theme, and we're about to see this long ride or short ride into SummerSlam, and we'll see what's happening.
I'll give it a B+ as well, and they have a lot of stuff that they can do, especially with the Wyatt family and whoever maybe they feud with, either the Shield or the Brothers of Destruction. So we'll see what goes on SummerSlam next month.
One thing I'm going to give an A+ to Donna Gagliardi on the appetizers.
Yeah,
A+, shout out. Highest rating of the year.
That's my mom. We had a pretty good party over here. I guess we were pretty hyped about this pay-per-view. But there is our Money in the Bank 2013 review. Tell us what you thought about Money in the Bank down below. Follow all of us on Twitter right below ourselves. Right there, like and subscribe to this channel if you're not already subscribed. And take it easy, WWE fans. Be tuned for my Raw review tomorrow night.
Boom.